Representing the business of boxing, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Manager Marty!
Thank you. You're far too kind. Thank you very much.
Representing the business of boxing, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Manager Marty!
Thank you. You're far too kind. Thank you very much.
Representing the business of boxing, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Manager Marty!
Thank you. You're far too kind. Thank you very much.
Representing the business of boxing, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Manager Marty!
Thank you. You're far too kind. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the jury, members of the Roll the Tape film crew, welcome to another episode of Roll the Tape podcast with Manager Marty. I'm your host, Manager Marty. I appreciate you joining me. You can be anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here with me this morning. I welcome each and every last one of you that are here live and live in color. If you're watching the replay of this live, I welcome you as well. We're going to have a really short but sweet show this morning. A couple of things we have to talk about today. A couple of tweets that have been going out for the last few days this week. A few tweets were published by Claressa Shields. A tweet published by Turki Al-Sheikh. We're going to get to that. But before I do that, I have to first definitely double salute to the sponsors of this channel. Our sponsors, Portler Manus LLC. They're personal injury lawyers in the states of Pennsylvania and New Jersey. The number is at the bottom of your screen, 267-457-4201. Their website is wefightwewin.com. They are personal injury attorneys. They do a tremendous job. If you're in the states of Pennsylvania and in the state or either one, Pennsylvania or in the state of New Jersey, I highly recommend that you hire Cortler Manus LLC. I am not just saying this because they sponsor the channel. I am saying it also because I have personally utilized their services on numerous occasions for different reasons. And when I say they fight and they win, they definitely fight and they definitely do win. I also referred them to friends and family members of mine, and they also won their cases as well. Also at the bottom of your screen is the Cash App, $ Manager Marty. I appreciate all contributions and your support to continue to keep the quality of the content published with entertainment and education on the sport and the business of boxing that you ain't gonna find nowhere else. Now, enough with the hugs, handshakes, and Valentine's Day cards. Let's get right into this. I don't know if I should start with Turki Al-Sheikh's tweet or Claressa Shields' tweet. You know what? How about we start with Claressa Shields' tweet? Shall we? This is Claressa Shields' tweet And she published this literally a few days ago on X, formerly known as Twitter. I just wanted us to just talk about it a little bit. Claressa Shields had some issues just a few months ago with Katie Taylor being publicly recognized. And she felt some type of way that Katie Taylor was being publicly recognized as a women's boxer, and somehow, some way, Claressa Shields took it personal, got in her feelings, at the fact that she herself was not publicly recognized, being as though she moved up to multiple weight divisions and she have captured world titles in those divisions. And this is before she fought for the heavyweight championship in women's boxing just a few months ago in her hometown in the state of Michigan against Danielle Perkins. And now the movie repeats itself, and we are watching a rerun of the first movie where Claressa Shields came out, had some issues with Katie Taylor being publicly recognized as a great women's boxer, and she didn't get any public praise. Got in her feelings and she tweeted it. Now we see it happening again, but only this time she is now in her feelings again because the BET Awards publicly recognized and honored Angel Reese. This is one of 3 tweets that Claressa Shields published on X, formerly known as Twitter, and we can all read it together. And I quote, "Still don't know how I didn't win the Sportswoman of the Year for the BET Awards, but congrats to Angel Reese and all the other nominees. I just thought accolades mattered." In another tweet, subsequently following that one, Claressa Shields then continued to write, and I quote, "I'm not joining in on any hate train when it comes to Angel Reese. I have mad respect for her and all the other female athletes that excel in their sport. As for my earlier comments, I am allowed to express my feelings. I was shocked I didn't win. I was under the impression the category was graded on accolades of your sport. It's okay to be a competitor." Here is the thing that somehow, some way becomes the elephant in the room. And I want to help Claressa Shields out. Apparently, Claressa Shields is seeking attention and seeking approval from other people. Because as soon as someone recognizes a woman athlete in any other sports, including, of course, the sport of boxing, she's getting in her feelings. And in one case, she actually made a comment about race being a major factor in the fact that people were publicly recognizing Katie Taylor and not her because she was a black woman. It's not about whether we agree with Claressa Shields or whether we disagree with Claressa Shields. The foundation that I want to lay is that Claressa Shields, with all the accolades that she wants to be praised for, with all the accomplishments that she wants to be praised for, she's still not getting the results that she's looking for. She wants to gain approval from people who should not even matter to her. That's number one. Because as soon as she don't get recognized and praised, she's getting in her feelings and then she's tweeting about it. Now I can see if there's a form of injustice happening and she's speaking about a blatant injustice or a conspiracy against her personally, that's understandable. But just because she didn't win the Sportswoman of the Year award at the BET Awards does not necessarily mean that there was a conspiracy against her. The thing about this tweet that you see on your screen is this. The thing about it is this. She came out first and said, I still don't know how I didn't win the Sportswoman of the Year for the BET Awards, but congrats to Angel Reese. Stop. Claressa Shields, that was the first thing that you should have said. The first thing Claressa Shields should have said in this tweet, naturally speaking, congratulations to Angel Reese and all the other nominees. And then proceed with what you want to say. Reason why I say that is because this goes to show that she was in her feelings. You're supposed to congratulate everybody first, but she did not congratulate Angel Reese or the other nominees first because she was in her feelings. And there's nothing wrong. We're human. We all get in our feelings. Sometimes one day or another day. It's natural. The part that affects business for Claressa Shields is that she runs the social media and she publishes these things when she's in her feelings. Now, even if you think that there's a conspiracy against her, even if you think that she's being slighted, we have to understand in the world of entertainment, there's other things that people look at when it comes to recognition, when it comes to publicity, when it comes to sponsorship opportunities, etc., etc. One of the things that is hard to do in the entertainment world, and I'm including sports when I say entertainment world. So it's entertainment and I'm including sports entertainment, is to number one, become marketable, and then number two, remain relevant. Right now, the marketability of Claressa Shields is on a decline. Has nothing to do with her accolades, has nothing to do with her accomplishments. It has something to do with the value that Claressa Shields can add to an entity, including social media. When we look at Angel Reese, apparently, whether it's about accomplishments or marketability or a combination of both, BET selected who they wanted to win the award for Sportswoman of the Year. But what difference does that make? I mean, Claressa Shields wanting to be recognized and gain approval by others, including BET, is not going to add more money in her purses. And I wasn't talking about Gucci purses. I'm talking about her compensation in exchange for her performing inside the boxing ring. All the award is going to do is collect dust on a nightstand for Claressa Shields and Angel Reese for that matter. I'm not diminishing the BET Awards. What I'm basically getting at is this doesn't raise Claressa Shields' stock when it comes to business. Now, somebody might disagree with me and say, well, Manager Marty, name something else that would raise Claressa Shields' stock as an entertainer. Well, how about a biopic? How about Claressa Shields actually being featured in a movie? You know, like the movie that she was biopicked in recently. Do you mean to tell me that that movie, that biopic of the life and journey of Claressa Shields is less important than a BET award, than a BET trophy, where they have BET awards every single year? Having a biopic, having a biopic, meaning as a professional athlete, is a major deal. A movie about your life and journey is a major deal. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity that a lot of people don't get. Hold on one second. So what I'm saying is Claressa Shields actually having a movie chronicling her life and journey as a professional athlete trumps a BET trophy, where the BET Awards, they actually have their ceremony once every year. So that wasn't enough. Having a biopic in Claressa Shields' name about her life and journey wasn't enough recognition. It wasn't enough public praise. It wasn't enough for Claressa Shields. The attention wasn't enough. And now she's in her feelings about not getting a BET award. We got to look at it like this. There is no comparison between Angel Reese and Claressa Shields when we talk about marketability, when we talk about influence, when we talk about garnering attention. And I want to be clear on that because that has a lot to do with business. Not business, business. Like for an example, Angel Reese is extremely easy on the eyes. It doesn't matter if she's wearing makeup, and it doesn't matter if she's not wearing makeup. She's a gorgeous young lady. Men will pay to see her play basketball. Yes, she does have skills. But let's look at a casual basketball fan who don't even consistently watch basketball. Guess what? They wouldn't mind watching a star player like Angel Reese just because of her beauty. Just as much as a casual boxing fan wouldn't mind seeing someone like an Alicia Baumgartner. Even if that casual boxing fan may not be interested or may not watch a lot of women's boxing. And yes, Alicia Baumgartner can fight. She has skills. But casual male boxing fans who don't watch boxing regularly may not even know too much about women's boxing. When they see the glitz and the glamour of how beautiful Alicia Baumgartner is, they'd be willing to pay to see her. Not only that, men would pay attention to see Angel Reese and Alicia Baumgartner in photo shoots. That's one of the major differences between someone like an Angel Reese and a Claressa Shields. And this is not a knock on Claressa. I'm just keeping it all the way 100 because we're talking about marketability. In other words, it's easier to market Angel Reese on posters. It's easier to market Alicia Baumgartner on posters and flyers to garner the attention of a male demographic compared to a Claressa Shields. Not only that, since we're on marketability now, Angel Reese has a very modest personality. On the contrary, Claressa Shields, she have that male dominating trait where even though she's a woman, she is hardcore. She is hard body. She want to be, as they call, an alpha woman. I don't even know what that means, but that's what people say on social media. She wants to be domineering. She wants to dominate. She's on social media talking about how much she can beat up grown men, including professional boxers, including Keith Thurman, where she said she will beat Keith Thurman in a boxing match. Not only that, she was in a sparring match with a man, and she did get knocked down, and of course she did get back up. And what I'm getting at is it's hard to market a black woman in America who have this domineering spirit and this sassy attitude and this foul mouth using the words bitch to refer to herself and others, being loud, being less modest, And that's hard to market. So what I'm saying is when you compare Angel Reese to a Claressa Shields, marketability wise, BET, they're looking at that, and I am sure that's a part of the category, whether they expose that or publicize that or not. Because remember, it's all about garnering ratings. It's not just about giving somebody an award. Remember, it's an actual show. It's a form of entertainment. And of course, they're getting paid through ratings. And more men would love to see Angel Reese with their natural eyes than they would Claressa Shields. Is Claressa Shields accomplished in the sport of boxing? Absolutely. But she is being known right now within the past couple of months, not for her accomplishments. She's not being recognized and talked about on social media because of her accomplishments. She's not being recognized and talked about on social media for the fact that she came out, made history as a woman in sports history to actually have a biopic, a movie on her life and journey. She's being more recognized and talked about on social media right now within the past few months for parading around in a public romantic relationship with a married man who is a former rapper, irrelevant rapper named Papoose, who is still married to Remy Ma. We hear Claressa Shields on social media talking about negativity more than being positive. In other words, that's another example of why it's hard to market Claressa Shields. In other words, can other young girls, can other young ladies, can other young women learn some good things about Claressa Shields? Yes, they can. But can they take what they learn and adopt the attitude of Claressa Shields to be marketable? No. Is she an example, a positive example with her personality and image? No. And so all I'm saying is to help Claressa Shields, it's always good to be a modest, humble woman. It's more attractive and it's more marketable in entertainment. Now, if Claressa Shields had more knockouts on her record, even with the same attitude she had, and being as less attractive of as an Angel Reese, then that will then make people watch her more. But she don't have that knockout record that people really yearn for in professional boxing matches. That's not a knock on her. I'm just telling you that naturally speaking in business, especially in boxing, everybody want to see a knockout. Like let's take Ann Wolf as an example, and most of you might not know who she is. Some of you may. Ann Wolf was also a trailblazer in women's boxing. Ann Wolf had a domineering personality. She had that alpha male personality slash alpha woman slash aggressive personality, very outspoken as a black woman. And of course, I mean, in her case, which is different from Claressa, she was attractive. She was attracted to women because she was a homosexual. That had really nothing to do with it. The point I'm making is she did not have that sex appeal that is marketable in the entertainment world. But what got Ann Wolf over the hump is that Ann Wolf was recognizable in America because of her knockouts inside of her professional bouts. Whereas though with Claressa Shields, she lacked having knockouts, in her professional bouts, and most, about 85 to 90% of her fights usually take place outside of the United States of America. So she's not being exposed a lot in her professional fights inside of her country. Once again, it's hard to market her. And that's why the promoters and the matchmakers have to match Claressa Shields up with a certain type of opponent. Double salute, Noop Warlock. Thank you for your contribution and your support to the channel. Warlock says, if that's the case, it should be labeled a popularity award, not an athlete award. Also, Claressa Shields is also a beautiful woman and easy on the eyes, in my opinion. Well, here's the thing about that, Warlock. I mean, look, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. To each his own. If you think Claressa Shields is attractive to you, that's fine. If someone else thinks Claressa Shields is not attractive to them, that's fine too. What I'm saying is when you compare the personality, the marketability, and the looks, when I say looks, I'm regarding sex appeal because that's usually what sells in entertainment. Sex usually sells in entertainment. When you compare those 3 or 4 factors to what Angel Reese brings to the table and what Claressa Shields bring to the table, is like night and day. Now, when we talk about Angel Reese in the last couple of months, most people were talking about Angel Reese being involved in controversy regarding a very hot topic in America known as racism, which is, of course, a major topic compared to the drama that's going on between Remy Ma, Papoose, and Claressa Shields. That's all I was saying. I mean, the WNBA have been around longer in popularity than women's boxing. I said in popularity, let's be clear on that. So when we talk about something that has more notoriety, we have to look at the fact that the WNBA is more founded, it's more established, it's more popular than women's boxing. Maybe that's one of the determining factors that BET used in their category. But my point is, what difference does it make? Just because Claressa Shields didn't win the BET award doesn't say anything about her accomplishments nor these accolades that she's chasing after. And that's what I'm saying that can become problematic for Claressa moving forward. I mean, look at her second tweet that's on your screen. She said it herself. As for my earlier comments, I am allowed to express my feelings. Everyone is allowed to express their feelings, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go on social media to express your feelings over the fact that you didn't win a trophy from BET. BET is not even known for sports. Now I can see if Sports Illustrated had like a a a, a, a trophy for women athletes. I mean, they probably do. I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen one yet, but I can see if she felt slighted there, But we're talking about BET. In other words, is her having a movie, a biopic about her life and journey wasn't good enough for her. That trumps a BET award, if you ask me. Being in business, being in entertainment and sports entertainment, being an influence, being a pioneer or trailblazer for other young women who are athletes in general, compared to just wanting the praises of BET and the fans. That's all I'm saying. It's about entertainment at the end of the day. We can't keep going on with these shades of color, Warlock. I hear you and I see you in the live chat. Brother, it has nothing to do with colorism. It has nothing to do with colorism. Let me reframe that. It has nothing to do with the color of someone's skin. It has something to do with the color of paper. I'm going to repeat that because I know somebody's going to get offended. I know they are because we have a lot of YouTube boxing black activists. But it's not about the color of skin. It's about the color of paper. And the color of paper that we're talking about in business is the color green. And right now, Angel Reese is more marketable than Claressa Shields. Angel Reese draw more green than Claressa Shields. Angel Reese perform in stadiums. Okay? Claressa Shields don't. You can take Angel Reese and put her against any other opposing team in their hometown, and people are going to come and see Angel Reese and draw the color of green. There's certain venues that you cannot place Claressa Shields in because it's not going to draw the color green. And that is why 90% of her opponents are from other countries. I'm not blaming her for that. What I'm saying is it's hard to market her in the states of America. And that's the difference. And I just wanted to make sure I was clear on that so we won't get caught up into comparing looks because there is no comparison. The girl is talking about fighting men and not being humbled as a woman and not being modest and respectful with her tone and her choice of words. That's not marketable. It might be cute for some people, but when we talk about drawing the color of green for a black woman, that is not marketable. It might, Claressa Shields' personality and the way she comes off and the way she talks, that might work in a Tyler Perry movie. That's about it. But it's not going to draw the money or the attention that she keeps seeking out. I can guarantee you that. Because if it did, she wouldn't be in her feelings again. Or she won't be in her feelings moving forward. And I'm not here to defend BET. I don't watch BET, nor did I watch the awards. I'm talking about the business of boxing. And now I'm talking about business in general since we're talking about this tweet. And that's all I'm saying. The only color it has something to do with is the color green. And I'm going to stand on that. I'm going to stand all the way on that 100%. Moving right along, since we're talking about the color green. Turki Al-Sheikh, he also took the X, formerly known as Twitter, and he tweeted some interesting things as well, and I want to read it. It's on your screen right now. Turki Al-Sheikh said these words, and I quote, "From this point on, I don't want to see any more Tom and Jerry type boxing matches where one fighter is running around the ring and the other is chasing him. We can we can longer support, I think he meant to say we can no longer. We can longer support these kind of fights with Riyadh Season and the ring. We want to support fighters who leave it all in the ring and fight with heart and pride." Those were the words of Turki Al-Sheikh. As we know, Turki Al-Sheikh, he is just a figurehead, just a representation of other people's money. And as an executive, and he used those allocated resources to put on boxing events just as a financier. Turki Al-Sheikh is not a promoter. Turki Al-Sheikh is not a matchmaker. I just want to make sure that we were clear on those two fronts. Turki Al-Sheikh don't put on fights. Turki Al-Sheikh do not promote fights. Turki Al-Sheikh does not match fighters to fight and compete with each other. Turki Al-Sheikh is the Eric Bischoff of boxing. If you know about the history of professional wrestling in the early to late 90s, you would know exactly who Eric Bischoff is. The point that I'm making is a lot of people are emphasizing Turki Al-Sheikh's comments, whether it be on X, formerly known as Twitter, or anywhere else. Turki Al-Sheikh just tweeted what he don't want to see. Now, everybody can say what they want to say and say he was just making a general statement. And everybody can even say, look, he was talking about Devin Haney. Either way you slice it, the bottom line is this. If Turki Al-Sheikh don't want to see Tom and Jerry type boxing matches, maybe Turki Al-Sheikh should start investing in MMA. Yeah, I said it. Turki Al-Sheikh should start investing in MMA. I'm talking about fully investing. I'm talking about 100% investing in MMA and 0% in boxing. And the reason why I say that is because when I hear people that never put a pair of hand wraps on, never put on a pair of boxing gloves, never went to a local gym and received any basic training, never competed as an amateur boxing inside of the boxing ring, never jumped boxing rope in the boxing gym, never learned how to stand orthodox and or southpaw, never threw a jab before, never got punched in the face before with a pair of boxing gloves, never put on a pair of um, boxing gloves, never put on or wore headgear, never even wore a protective cup, never even competed in a professional boxing match. You all see where I'm going. When I hear people be so critical about something they've never done before, it's bothersome. And what I'm saying is Turki Al-Sheikh has never done none of the above. So because of that, he does not have the right to use the term Tom and Jerry, in my personal opinion. Tom and Jerry type boxing matches. Because styles make fights in boxing. The bull versus the matador always sell. The brawler versus the puncher, or the brawler versus the boxer, always sell. Or a brawler versus a boxer puncher, it always sells. It's all about different styles in boxing. In fact, it's all about how the professional boxer used technical and tactical offense and defense. And I'm not justifying whether someone runs or not. I want to be a foundation that if you never done it before, you don't have a right to use offensive slang like Tom and Jerry type boxing. Because every fighter doesn't have the same style of rock'em, sock'em, brawling, banging it out. That's the beauty of the sweet science of boxing. Now, there are times where, as boxing fans, you might see a particular boxer who has a boxer puncher style who does excessive holding, who does excessive running without making it a tactical strategy. You know, sort of like Devin Haney in his last fight. His strategy had nothing to do with being tactical. In fact, his strategy didn't even appeal to no boxing fan that he was actually trying to win in that fight. It looked like Devin Haney was literally trying to avoid getting hit and survive at the same time, as if he wasn't confident within himself, as if he was second guessing himself. That's considered running to me because it's not tactical. It's not a part of a strategy used to bait the aggressive fighter towards you so that you can land an effective punch and then dominate. Let me give you an example. When Floyd Mayweather, who always gets accused of running, when he fought Ricky Hatton, y'all remember that? Floyd Mayweather was using a tactical strategy to bait Ricky Hatton in as the aggressive fighter, using tactical and technical offense and defense to pivot, take a step or a half a step back, pivot, and then land the check hook and then get out of there. And guess what happened? After Mayweather landed that check hook and dropped Ricky Hatton, guess what he did? He didn't use that same strategy that he used to knock Ricky Hatton down with the check hook. No, he used the offensive, technical, and tactical strategy to do what? Knock Ricky Hatton down again. And he did. That's not Tom and Jerry style boxing or Tom and Jerry type boxing. That's what I'm trying to say. That style of a fighter actually running, as some people call it, or retreating, if it's not in an effort to engage using technical and or tactical strategies to actually win, then that's when it becomes a problem. But because Turki Al-Sheikh is using other people's money and other people are jumping on his bandwagon, they're going to basically give him the benefit of the doubt. Because here's the thing. His tweet says, we can no longer support these kinds of fights with Riyadh season and the ring. Stop. Okay. So if you don't want to see that type of style of boxing, Turki Al-Sheikh, with the Riyadh season and the ring, then why don't you talk to the promoter and the matchmaker about that? I mean, yeah, you can tweet it and all that. That's cute. But talk to the people that's actually matching up the fights, putting on these type of events. I mean, you telling us on Twitter, don't, or X, formerly known as Twitter, that don't, what that mean? I'm just trying to figure out what that means. I know what it means. It means Devin Haney, wake up. We're not going to keep paying for that type of style that you displayed a couple of months ago, in this case, a month and a half ago. Devin Haney. We know he was talking about Devin Haney subliminally, and other fighters that think they can come in the ring when he's financing it and compete without engagement. We know he was talking about that. Of course, we know he was talking about Devin. I mean, here's the thing. You think about it like this. When was another time where Turki Al-Sheikh said that? When? Before Devin Haney fought Jose Ramirez. You mean to tell me all other Riyadh season cards was competitive, or were they overmatched? Most of the Riyadh season cards that you saw in the past, from the last year and a half to 2 years to today, most of them were against overmatched opponents. I mean, let's keep it 100. Overmatched opponents. Those fights were one-sided fights before they even competed in the ring. On paper, one-sided. Most of the fights that we've seen on Riyadh season under Turki Al-Sheikh and his financing through other people's money, by the way, they weren't like real like competitive fights that we all wanted to see. I mean, let's keep it real. Nobody really didn't give Madrimov a chance to beat Terrence Crawford because no one really was clamoring, asking for Terrence Crawford to fight Israel Madrimov. I mean, nobody was asking for Shakur Stevenson to fight Mr. Patley. Nobody was asking for that fight. It's unfortunate that, that fight had to take place under the circumstances, but salute to Mr. Patley who got a crazy check for that. I like that. But what I'm trying to get at is these fights that was on the Riyadh season, and then I'm saying that because I know a lot of people, fans of boxing and some content creators, will always praise Turkey and say, at least Turkey Al-Sheikh, he's giving us the fights that we want to see. That's a lie. That's a lie. He hasn't done that consistently. Yes, Terrence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez, that's a major fight. That's great. The other fights that were like big fights, yes, that's great. That's good for boxing. But it's only a handful of those type of fights, considering the fact that the Riyadh season have been going on in boxing now for what, a year and a half to 2 years? Okay. Most of the fights were overmatched. So all I'm trying to say is Turki Al-Sheikh don't push no buttons in boxing. And he's not going to change a fighter's style. He can forget that, if that is what his intentions are. And there's never going to be a such thing as a no running rule in boxing. And I applaud the efforts of showbiz But these guys ain't pushing no buttons. That's not how boxing works. If you want to see that much engagement and you don't like the style of fighters who use technical and tactical offense and defense, then go watch other sports. That's more engagement, like football, full contact. UFC and mixed martial arts, full contact. But nobody's going to change the style, and no one should try to change the style of a professional boxer, because y'all call it running. Well, sometimes it's not running. Sometimes it's tactical, technical, offense and defense being displayed. But once again, because you, as a boxing fan, content creator, Turki Al-Sheikh, and whoever else, never done it before, never put on a pair of hand wraps, never got formal training of the basic fundamentals of boxing, it might look like running to you. But you're criticizing fighters of something you can't do yourself. What I'm saying is, I think we should be a little bit more sensitive. Now, in Devin Haney's case, he didn't use that style as a tactical or technical offense or defensive strategy. That's when it becomes a problem. Now, if we all can agree on that, then yes, I'll jump on the train and engineer the train to say, come on, Devin Haney. The fans didn't pay to see that. The fans paid to see technical and tactical, offensive and defensive strategies being used inside that boxing ring, whether you're retreating or not. That's the point that I'm making. That's all I'm saying. And if the fighter is not doing that intentionally to retreat and to literally not engage at all, that is problematic. But we can't actually change a boxer's style and say you can't utilize your strengths as a professional boxer, which may be to retreat to use technical and or tactical offense or defense because it's not engaging enough. That's very insensitive, especially coming from people who's never even done it on an amateur level. That's all I'm saying. But Turki Al-Sheikh, if you don't want to see that type of style, fine. No problem. No problem. That's fine. What happens if a professional boxer is actually hurt? You know that's a part of having a defensive strategy as well in boxing. Where a boxer gets hit with a big shot, naturally, the boxer's going to back up and they're going to be less engaging. Why? So that they won't get countered with another big shot and possibly lose. Are you telling us that when a boxer is hurt, they don't have the mental fortitude as an athlete to retreat, to get their bearings together real quick? I'm not in agreement with that. I know how it feels to get punched. I know how it feels to get punched in the face inside of a boxing ring. It's not cute or pretty at all. I know we are desensitized by it because we have been watching boxing for so long. So our brains are able to process a person getting punched in the face very quickly and nonchalantly because we're desensitized by it. But the people who've never got punched before, never retreated before, never had to step back, retreat, get their bearings together real quick until that bell ring, if you don't know how that feels, you should be a little bit more sensitive. You want that much engagement with no strategies being implemented technically and tactfully, then maybe you should just go to UFC and just watch that type of engagement because that's a nonstop engagement, right? And listen, I'm not here to knock UFC or not just UFC, but mixed martial arts. You know what I mean? I'm just saying in general. This is why it's called the sweet science of boxing. Double salute to my guy, Mr. Gregory Quarterbomb. He did put a super chat up. I'm trying to find it to put it on the screen, but StreamYard is allowing the other, live chat that's going by so fast, and I can't retrieve it. So I apologize for that, Mr. Greg. But yes, I am publicly acknowledging that. I don't know what Mr. Greg said in the super chat, but Mr. Greg, if you can actually type it in the live chat, I will actually read it aloud for the audience so that you could get your proper recognition. And double salute to you again, Mr. Greg. And I appreciate your contribution and your support to the actual channel. Appreciate it. So that's all I'm saying. I'm listen, and I'm cool with Turki Al-Sheikh having his, his opinion. But my thing is, if you going to tweet that, if Turki Al-Sheikh's going to tweet that, he needs to talk to the promoters and or the matchmakers who's actually matching these fights up with these particular boxers. That's just very simple. That's just my take on that, me personally.